print and what is printmaking? Well, what is a print? That's a print from an etching, we'll talk about later. That's a little print, we saw that. But the word print has changed because if I was in a court of law and someone said, is that a print? I can't say no. Now, it's a digital print, it's a copy. It's not an impression from a plate. So printmaking is described as, you can read there, traditional printmaking is, these are 2 etchings by Silver. It's an edition of 10, that's number 4 of 10, that's number 6 of 10. At first glance you might say, well, it's the same image. But if you focus and look at them closely, you might see that that one on the left is a bit darker. This one over here is a bit lighter, it has a little blemish up there. I bought this, I have to use it. It's a little blemish there, because I'm not a copier. 1831, Homicide, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. A very, very famous image. We were lucky enough to see that original impression in Verona, Italy of all places, in a museum. That is only one of 100 that exists today, and that was done using the woodblock technique. So he used multiple woodblocks to produce that image. He did produce many of these impressions. Would anyone dare guess how many impressions, what the edition number was? Anyway. 32. Higher. 300. Higher. Can I have more? 1,000. You're getting close. 8,000 impressions. 8,000 impressions of that image. The same woodblock. That's how durable. That's how durable it is. Now it would eventually start wearing away and wasting away, but he produced 8,000. And at the time he was selling them for the price of 2 bowls of noodles. So in today's terms, whether it's noodles from Nirvana or up the road, for about $40 you could own a homicide. Of the 8,000, as I said, there's only about 100 that remain in the world today, so the others were either destroyed, lost, who knows. Printmaking does date back to 9th century BC. China, Japan, Korea, where it was used for Buddhist texts and for decorative impressions. But it was Europe in the 1400s that saw the introduction of printmaking, primarily for 2 reasons. Something very close to Europeans' hearts. 1, religious texts, and 2, playing cards. So, read a bit of the Bible and then go have a hand of poker, if that's your thing. Common printmaking techniques, and we can talk about these later. I'm going to focus on only a few of these today. Engraving on wooden metals, woodblock printing, like the Hokusai, etching, dry point, mezzotint, lino cut, a bit more modern, lithography, and screen printing. Wood engraving. Wood engraving is a beautiful technique, but it's very, very hard to do. So this is a small block of wood that's been engraved. So using an engraving tool, you scratch into that surface and you leave a relief image. So you're taking away the sections you don't want and you're printing a relief. It was a very common process back in the days. However, it wasn't until the 1500s that this lovely gentleman, Daniel, invented etching. Now, etching is a more detailed way to produce a print, but it's a much easier way to draw on the plate. You can't all see that from there, but you can pop up later. Copper plate, hard ground on the plate. Rembrandt, better known by his full name, but let's just call him Rembrandt. Has anyone seen a Rembrandt exhibition anywhere in the world? Here at the NGV? Yeah, beautiful small etchings, medium, large etchings. He was prolific. He produced many, many etchings in his time. However, the one thing that he didn't do, which was not common practice, is number them. So he never numbered how many he did of each one. Okay, so that's a good question. Now, numbering. If you can see that number down there, that's a big number. That's 180. So Picasso and Dali were notorious for printing hundreds of prints because they knew they could sell them. They knew they had the market. I think they were both very competent printmakers and artists, but they were also very good marketers. And so I asked this gentleman if he liked the show, and if he had seen the show. He said, I absolutely did. And he said, I better bloody well like it. He's my grandfather. So I said, I'm Theo. He said, hi, I'm William. And Before he left, he said, "What time do you close during the week?" I said, "Oh, we close at about 5." He said, "Oh, can I come and show you something?"